Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us for this session entitled Social Media, Sex Apps, and Surfing to Enhance Cascades. We plan to have a very interesting and informative presentation this afternoon. My name is Alex Garner. I'm with Hornet, the gay social networking app. Forgive me, my voice has decided to go out on me this week, so I'll be talking as little as possible, probably. I'm co-chairing this session with Midnight. Midnight, do you want to introduce yourself?
Thanks, Alex. My name is Midnight, and I'm the Executive Director of AppCom, working in Asia Pacific region, and we do a lot of work around social media and reaching young people. So really grateful to be part of this panel and co-chairing with Alex.
As I mentioned, Hornet is a gay social networking app, and social networking apps have really become vital in terms of engaging gay men and MSM around their health, in terms of providing information, in terms of fostering community, in particular in terms of new innovations around prevention and treatment. And so what we'll be hearing today is some evidence of that, some examples of that, and it's really important to be able to meet MSM gay men where they are, and we know that apps have become ubiquitous in the lives of gay men, so they become a very powerful source of information and resources, and we're really happy to be able to explore that as much as possible and really amplify and demonstrate the great work that people have been able to do through social media. So I'll have Midnight introduce each person, and then we can get started with the presentation, so we'll have ample time for questions towards the end.
So please have your questions ready, right, before, or else it's going to run out of time. I'd like to introduce the first speaker. Her name is Chattiya, and she's the co-founder of Adam's Love and manager of taman.org, the technology-based initiatives that raise the awareness of HIV/AIDS and HIV testing amongst MSM and transgender women in Asia since 2011. I have to go up there.
Hello everyone. Thank you for this opportunity and letting me be here today. My name is Chattiya. So our study is about using technology-based intervention for reduced HIV risk among Thai MSM using Wirelogs. We conduct a randomized control trial to evaluate the impact of this intervention on HIV knowledge, self-perceived risk, condom use behavior, as well as sexual risk among Thai MSM. So we designed a technology-based HIV risk reduction intervention. We recruited participants aged 18 years or above who have engaged in unprotected sex in the past 6 months. We enrolled them in the study, and we randomized them into intervention arm and control arm. All of them received the HIV counseling and testing at the private clinic at baseline, month 6 and month 12. For the intervention arm, participants engaged in 12 monthly HIV prevention and educational sessions via Wirelogs. And at month 12, we assess the behavioral outcome as well as self-perceived risk. So what is Wirelogs? Wirelogs, I don't know if some of you come across this one. It is a free online software available on the web platform. It is a synchronous video and discussion platform. It is free to use, available from Columbia University. You can make it a private room discussion, or you can make it a public discussion. So this is the interface of the Wirelogs, and on the left side is a video, and on the right side is a conversation with a timestamp. That during you watch the video, you can also see, you can type the question and answer, and you can just upload the video easily by your own video, or you use the URL from the YouTube or Vimeo. In our case, we use the YouTube because we have the resource on our YouTube channel. So, like I said before, Wirelogs come from video and dialogues. So this concept of Wirelogs is evolved around 4 things, including upload, invite, conversation, and knowledge sharing. So We started by create a room of this discussion room. We upload the video that we want, and then our health educator is acting as a moderator, and then we invite or assign the participants that we want to include as much as you want, and then putting in this room. And meanwhile, the email will be sent to the email by the system. Meanwhile, we also schedule an appointment by call them or making the line application, because in Thailand we use a lot of line. So, and once they come at the same time, all of them together, and then we can start the conversation. So the content of these dialogues for 12 months, we aim to setting the long-term goals of the reducing the HIV sexual risk. So the result is that we assessed 172 MSM for the eligibility, and of 76 MSM enrolled in the study, we randomized them into intervention arm, 37 MSM, and 39 MSM into the control arm. Median age was 28 years old, and half of them spending more than 7 hours on the internet. Majority had ever sought sex online. Of 37 intervention arm participants, there are 89 participants completed 12 monthly dialogue sessions with the duration around 37 minutes. And the time preferred is at 6 to 9 p.m. At month 12, we see the retention rate of the intervention arm was 97% and the control arm was 79%. And also the median of percentage of condom use of the intervention arm was higher than the control arm. So let's look into the intervention arm. We saw the significant reduction in self-perceived risk, proper usage, seeking sex online, median number of sexual partners in the past 3 months, as well as condom use. So at the end, we also make the evaluation on the satisfaction that we got mean of 4.67 out of 5 Likert scale. At the end of the study, we did the exit interview for getting the qualitative responses, and they are quite for the intervention arm participant, 37 people, and we've quite got they are quite happy with this because, for example, they said doing dialogues every month doesn't disturb my daily life. It rather gives me some information that I didn't know before joining this study. And another guy said, I like that this study uses technology and social network to engage participants. It's my generation and it's very convenient. So the conclusion, we found that the dialogues can raise the awareness of condom, HIV prevention, and it significantly reduces HIV risk. So we encourage the program implementers to use this free, online, and easy to use in your settings. Thank you very much, and thanks from the participants and everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Satya. Now we'll move on to our next presenter, Sarah Legrand from the United States. Dr. Legrand is an assistant research professor at the Duke Global Health Institute. Her research focuses on the design and evaluation of technology-based HIV prevention, care, and care interventions for vulnerable population, including adolescents, MSM, transgender individuals.
Thank you, and good afternoon. So I'm going to talk this afternoon briefly about our poster P3, which stands for Prepared, Protected, and Empowered, and the feasibility and acceptability of a PrEP adherence app featuring peer-to-peer sharing, game-based elements, and in-app adherence counseling. And so just to start briefly with a little bit of background, there are very few efficacious interventions that promote and sustain PrEP adherence among youth who often face many barriers to PrEP adherence, including developmental, social, and structural factors. And so smartphone apps really do provide a platform to address some of these adherence barriers. So P3 is a theory-based PrEP adherence app for young men who have sex with men and young transgender women who have sex with men between the ages of 16 and 24 that includes in-app adherence counseling as well as peer-to-peer sharing, game-based elements, and many, many other features. And so to refine and test P3, we solicited feedback from youth advisory boards as well as conducted usability testing at sites within the ITEC, which is part of the Adolescent Trials Network for Interventions in the U.S. So prior to conducting or soliciting feedback and conducting usability testing, we had a set of core components for P3 that were based on theory, as well as our prior experience developing adherence interventions for this population, as well as the expertise of our technology partner, Ayogo. And so I'm going to talk briefly about these. These are explained in much more detail on our poster, but for the essence of time, I'll keep this short. But we have a profile page where individuals can see their own avatar, which you can see in the first screenshot, the page where they select their avatar, which this is their visual representation of themselves in the app. They can also see their progress within the app. So they can see the number of points that they've earned. They can also see the amount of money they've earned. We also have some behavioral economics integrated, and also their level within the app, and as well as all of the various features that they can access. So we have many features related to medication adherence and support, including customized app or medication reminders. And these are tied to adherence strategies, which you can see in the second screenshot. And these are customized based on the time that a person decides to take their PrEP. They are given options for strategies to choose. And the purpose of these is to help promote habit building around adherence. We also have the ability for them to track their medication each day, and then they have a calendar that they can see their medication adherence history over time. And we also have a portal that's available for research staff that shows adherence for all participants in real time that enables us to send them either canned or tailored messages providing encouragement or congratulations based on their adherence. And this is also the portal that we use to deliver our in-app adherence counseling. So we have a daily discussion feature, and this is kind of our peer-to-peer sharing feature. So we have daily prompts that facilitate discussion around topics related to PrEP, related to sexual health, other topics related to these specific populations, with the intentions of building positive social norms as well as building community. We have also a knowledge center, which isn't listed here. Oops. And that's a multimedia knowledge building section featuring articles and other multimedia knowledge-based components. We have character-based narratives as well, and these are unlocked using points that are earned by using the app. And so these include choose-your-own-adventure narratives, as well as a video-based series is being developed that follows a group of diverse queer individuals, some on PrEP, some not on PrEP, but just really kind of navigating life as a man who has sex with men, or a transgender woman. And lastly, we have, again, as I mentioned, some of the gamification and behavioral economics principles to engage these youth in this particular intervention. And so in terms of soliciting YAB feedback, or Youth Advisory Board feedback, we conducted 3 different sessions at 3 different sites, 3 different YAB groups, by video conferencing, and we used a multimedia presentation to gather input from these YABs about our app, and we wanted input about content, look and feel of the app, and we were specifically seeking information about our adherence counseling protocol, which follows the next step counseling protocol. So some of the feedback that we received related to the Knowledge Center was that they wanted more relevant images that they felt like reflect them as individuals. They wanted the tone to be appropriate. In some cases, they thought our tone was a little bit, they wanted it to be a little bit more professional, a little less risque, maybe. And also that they suggested additional content for us to add. And in response to that, we basically addressed all of those suggestions by the YAB related to the Knowledge Center. And some of the recommendations they made related to the adherence counseling was they wanted to know something about the adherence counselor, who they were talking to. So we decided to at least have the adherence counselor introduce themselves by first name when starting the adherence counseling sessions. And they also, so we originally planned to have about 30-minute sessions approximately every 2 weeks with the adherence counselor. And what we learned from the youth is that they actually wanted to be able to communicate with the adherence counselor in between sessions. So we added the ability for them to reach out to the adherence counselor between sessions. And here you can just see an example of a sample dialogue between a participant and the adherence counselor. And in terms of usability testing, we conducted usability testing with 12 young men who have sex with men and young transgender women who have sex with men at 2 sites in Boston and Chicago. And we used basically a typical usability testing protocol where we walked participants through actually a prototype of the app and asked them to think aloud as they were going through the prototype and provide feedback. And we also asked them some general questions about overall impressions of the app. We also did a pre and post usability testing survey so that we could gather information about demographic characteristics as well as their acceptability and usability of the app. And so we had 12 participants, and most participants found the app to be highly acceptable, so 92%. They did mention their favorite features. They liked the medication reminders, the daily tracking. They did like the tone of the information, so some of the changes we made by the time of usability testing were well received. And they were really, really excited about the ability to connect with an adherence counselor. So our mean system usability score, which is what we base our usability findings on, was 75.6. And since a score of around 68 on this particular scale is above average, we were very encouraged by these usability findings. So some of the recommendations were that we add an avatar for the counselor on the page, on the profile page. So you can see we've done that in the second one on the right to make that feature more prominent. There were also some concerns about the icons on the bottom, and so we made those clearer. They made some suggestions about the sessions with the adherence counselor regarding duration and the adherence counselor's role. They also wanted the social wall to feel more like Facebook, so they wanted the ability to be able to comment on people's posts, like people's posts, comment on comments. And so we made it more like a Facebook or other social media type. We included those types of functionalities. So essentially, we addressed all of these concerns in our current version of the app. And in conclusion, I mean, what we found is that we do think that, based on these findings, that the app is feasible, acceptable, usable, and that the information that we got through both of these different methodologies was critical in helping us adapt the app and create a more effective app that we will test in the future. So, thank you.
Thank you. And now we're moving on to the Philippines. I'm introducing Lomada, who is a campaign officer for Test MNL in the Philippines under Love Yourself, Inc. He received a bachelor's degree in nursing from Far Eastern University in 2009. He is interested in emerging traditions and cultures related to MSM, TG, and HIV/AIDS.
Hi everyone, my name is Lord Art. I'm from Love Yourself Inc. in the Philippines. So today I'm going to talk about the effectiveness of community-led sex-positive campaign on HIV testing of young men who have sex with men in the Philippines, or the Test Seminal campaign. A little background, Love Yourself Inc. is a community-based organization in the Philippines which provides free HIV testing and treatment to MSM and the youth. Currently we have 3 community centers and we have 900 strong volunteers. An additional background, the Philippines is a predominantly Catholic country, about 81%. We have a very sex-negative culture, and of course, most of the time, stigma and fear are used for health campaigns, which is, we found out that very ineffective when the issue is about HIV and STI. So what do we do? We use sex-positive campaign and creative key messages to supplement this. We found out that using a very sex-positive campaign creates a more dynamic role in reaching young MSMs. We use AppCom's Test BKK's original slogan, Suck, Fuck, Test, Repeat, which resonates more with young MSMs in Metro Manila through our focus group discussion. We use it on our slogan. We also use it on our campaign banners. And lastly, of course, we use it on our viral videos as core messaging for these. Other than that, we partnered with 8 MSM-friendly clinics in Metro Manila to provide free HIV testing and STI testing for these MSMs. We develop campaign products and website to supplement this. So these products direct the young MSMs to the website, which contains data on how to get tested, where to get tested, how to stay safe, and how to live positively. And of course, we use online platforms to drive HIV prevention efforts. We use Facebook ads, Twitter ads, Instagram ads, Grindr, and Hornet, because especially these apps, Grindr and Hornet, because this is where most of the young MSMs are, and we know that they are sexually active here. And of course, we also do online and offline events to supplement this. So in the first photo, you can see the one with the naked guys. This is from the Labor Akay party in Manila. The one below is a gay auction for a cause. The one to the right is the Metro Manila Pride March in the Philippines, and the one above, that's the mass testing event of Love Yourself Inc. So with this campaign, we tested on one day 363 people, and 10% of those came out reactive. So that's around 36 people, young MSMs. And the result? Through the Test MNL program, we tested 18,369 individuals tested for HIV. 7,026 of those are young MSMs within this age group alone, not including those MSMs that are below or above this age group. 1,343 of those young MSMs are reactive to HIV and are now getting treatment and support services from our clinic or other partner clinics. 46,910 individuals learn about HIV testing in Metro Manila alone. 79,934 views on our campaign videos. And lastly, partner clinics reported an average increase in HIV testing of 62.05% compared to previous months the year before. Our conclusions: not only young MSMs in Metro Manila has thirst for sex positivity, there's a need for more community-led sex positive campaigns, and also scale-up program is needed to provide more opportunity to develop new campaign messages. Because currently we're just focusing on testing, so in the future we will also want to focus on treatment and maybe PrEP. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Now I'd like to introduce our fourth speaker, Xie Jin from China. Xie Jin is Deputy Country Program Manager for the AIDS Healthcare Foundation based in Beijing.
Thank you, Midnight, and greetings to everyone. First, I want to say a little story for I didn't prepare a lot of slides because I received an email from the committee. The maximum slides was 3, so I will try to express more here. With the explosive internet, the way people are connected is changing. In May 2018, Mark Zuckerberg dropped the bomb that Facebook launched a dating service. And he pointed out that there are about 200 million people on Facebook listed themselves as single. In China, we have over 707 million people. They are internet and mobile internet users. And a great number of people socialize and looking for sexual partners through online, particularly for men who have sex with men. Based on a study result, about half of the MSM in China was not tested for HIV before. So for MSM who use the internet social platform or apps, we call them internet-based MSM. The HIV test proportion of internet-based MSM during the past 12 months is less than 30% in China. If you want to know how to reach these MSM who widely use the online social platform and rarely access to HIV testing service, you have certainly come to the right place. Based on the program network of AIDS Healthcare Foundation, HIV China devised a platform to provide online free HIV self-test regions for MSM in Chinese 14 provinces from October to December 2017. And a total of 1,015 participants applied the self-test regions, and among them, 879 of them were the eligible MSM. They completed the electric informed consent questionnaire and pay a $5 deposit. And the self-test package was delivered to the address, which was provided by the participants within 1 to 3 days by the community peer educators. So in this study of the total test, 683 of them feedback their self-test results. 98 of them were screened as HIV positive and were one-to-one accompanied referred to HIV or non-HIV healthy facilities. All of these HIV screened positive was confirmed as HIV positive, and 71 of them was linked and enrolled in the treatment. So of those who we self-tested without feedback, the HIV prevalence was 14%, and 43 of them were never tested for HIV before, with the HIV prevalence of 19%. So we can see that the HIV prevalence was the highest among the MSM who was never tested for HIV, and it decreased with the increase of the number of HIV test frequency. Now we move to the most interesting things, sexual behaviors. In this study, 90% of the participants self-identified themselves as homosexual. And among these, 88% of them reported that they have engaged in anal sexual intercourse during the last 3 months. And 54% of them reported that they have 2 or more sexual partners during the last 3 months. And 29 of them reported they had never used condoms during the annual sexual activity. 82% of them reported they have used condoms during the last annual sexual intercourse, while 40% of them failed to consistently use condoms in the last annual sexual activity. 88 participants, it accounts for 10%. They self-reported that they are bisexual or uncertain. For these people, 96 of them reported to have engaged in vaginal sex with a female during the past 3 months. And 31% of them, they report they were used condoms. 48% of them reported they have used condoms in the last vaginal sex with a female. Unfortunately, none of them consistently used a condom during the last vaginal sex with a female. So, from this study, we can see that the internet-based MSM who never tested for HIV before are more inclined to engage in sexual activities without use condoms, and are more inclined to not consistently use the condom during the anal sexual activity or the vaginal sex. It is also noted that this is the urgent need to the HIV risk reduction or some test intervention for internet-based MSM who have engaged in heterosexual activities in their female partner. So to wrap up, we can see that the internet-based self-testing is a kind of innovative and effective approach to HIV testing service. particularly for men who have never tested for HIV. And also, this is a kind of effective way to access HIV treatment for HIV-positive MSM. This is a self-test package. And for the praised time, we also prepared a paper regarding this study. If you have interest, you can take it and look it over. This, ladies and gentlemen, is what I want to share here. Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you. Thank you. And now we move on to Vietnam. Tham Chan is a marketing and communication specialist. She leads innovative strategies to increase the use of HIV goods and services through social media. She helps create the Rainbow Village Facebook, which gained over 230,000 followers and becomes one of the most trustful platforms on HIV targeting MSM in Vietnam.
Thank you, Midnight. Good afternoon. I will talk about the use of social media strategies to increase uptake and access to HIV testing among MSM in Vietnam. So we'll be back to before 2015 when we started to design our demand generation strategies. There are some key highlights I want to note here. So the first one is that at that time the HIV rate among MSM was high and increasing. And in addition to that, only a small part of MSM was reached annually. And as you may know, the HIV communication activity in Vietnam at that time was mostly conventional, so face-to-face interactions. And we sought to better understand the media consumption of MSM at that period, and there are some key highlights which are very important, some key insights. The first insight is that 89% of MSM had a smartphone. The second important insight is that 98% of MSM said that they have at least one social media account, and Facebook is one of the most popular social media accounts that they use. And the third important insight is that they said that 74% of them said that they use online platform to seek for sex partner or sexual information. So at that time, it was estimated that in Vietnam there was 330,000 MSM, and as discussed, only a small part of MSM was reached annually. And many MSM don't want to be reached directly. They want to use the online platform to seek for sexual information or seek for sex partner. So we decide to go where MSM are. So we identify the online platform to reach them. So we partner with MSM-led CBO to co-design and co-implement HIV prevention and sexual health campaign for and by MSM named My Future, My Choice. We defined 3 key goals for this My Future, My Choice campaign. The first goal is to increase awareness about HIV products and services. The second goal is to create trust for these products and services, including PrEP, HIV testing, STI, condom, and lubricant. The third goal is to increase the use of these products and services, including PrEP, HIV lay testing, HIV cell testing, STI, condom, and lubricant. So we collaborate with MSM-led CBO, MSM online influencers to create a Rainbow Village Facebook. And now the Rainbow Village Facebook has more than 230,000 young MSM, and we use this platform as a central platform to promote discussion about HIV prevention, about sexual health in Vietnam. And as you know, the MSM-led CBO also have their own Facebook page, so we cross-promote information between the Rainbow Village Facebook page and the Facebook page of MSM. And we also work with a team of online MSM influencers, and we train this team of online influencers to interact with the Rainbow Village, and they translate the online outreach into the use of HIV products and services. We also set up an app named iReserve to enable the online booking for HIV testing and also for PrEP and for STI. To measure the results of our online intervention, we use different methods, including the program data, but also the online, the online survey. So with what we have done, what are the key results we achieved? We did an online survey for the Rainbow Village results, and we found that 50% of the respondents said that they visit the Rainbow Village at least once per week. And 75% of them said that they were not in contact with the online, the outreach workers or the peer educators. And 38% of them share that they self-assess themselves as at high risk of HIV. And you can see also on the screen the online to offline testing cascade from the work of the online influencers and the iReserve app that I share. So the two key takeaway I would like to share is that the positivity rate is 11.8% compared with the average of 6% of HIV rate among MSM who opt for HIV-late testing and HIV self-testing. The second takeaway is very important, is that more than 90% of them are new testers. So for conclusion, there are three key points I want to share. The first one, the social platform are effective to engage a large number of MSM for HIV issue in Vietnam, and that will enhance also the uptake of HIV service. The second conclusion I want to share is that the online platform can help to reach the MSM that we cannot reach through conventional peer-to-peer education. And that also can help to reach a higher risk MSM. The third conclusion I want to share is that the online strategy should be further scaled and adapt, and need to be combined with the face-to-face intervention to reach more diverse segment of MSM. So I want to thank the CBO, the MSM-led organization, including Lighthouse G-Link, who are in this room. Thank you, the online MSM influencers who commit and support a lot for co-create this campaign and complement this campaign. Thank you, MOH, USAID in Vietnam for their encouragement and support. Private sector, including Hornet, for their contributions. Thank you, PAT team, especially Kimberly Green, for her incredible vision and also strategic guidance. Thank you all.
Thank you. And lastly, we return back to Thailand now. I would like to introduce Juriporn, who is from the Thai Red Cross. And she is so motivated to conduct her work that will provide the most important information to assist planning future holistic care for HIV-infected patients in the institute as well as in national and global policy.
Thank you very much for the introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. In my presentation, I will talking briefly about the outcome of my abstract entitled Online Supervised HIV Self-Testing, Identify High HIV Yield Among Thai MSM and Transgender Women. Over half of new HIV cases in Thailand are MSM and transgender women. Recent estimates demonstrate that around one-third of MSM had HIV testing in the past year. Innovative and effective strategies are needed to enhance the recruit, test, treat, prevent, retain cascades for HIV prevention among MSM and transgender women. We hypothesize that integrating various levels of online HIV services has high potential to engage a specific section of MSM and transgender women population in HIV service. During during December 2015 to June 2017, MSM and transgender women were enrolled from Bangkok Metropolitan and Pattaya. They self-selected to enroll into three groups. Group 1 is offline HIV counseling and testing, or I will call offline group for short. Group 2 is online counseling and online supervised HIV testing, or online group. And group 3 is online pre-test counseling and offline HIV testing, or I will call a mixed group. Linkage to ART was provided immediately after HIV positive and or reactive test results were known. self-administered questionnaire were used to collect socio-demographic data, stigma and discrimination, and sexual and drug use behaviors, perceived barrier and facilitator for access to HIV testing. For the data present here, we use binary logistic regression to identify factors associated with unsuccessful linkage to ART. This slide shows you about the result. In the diagram, you can see that the study recruited 474 MSM and 99 transgender women. Two MSM were excluded from the study, so the enrollment number were 472 MSM and 99 transgender women. If you see the middle row, you can see that the number of participants who selected in each group of 571, 202 selected the offline group. 158 select mixed group, and 211 prefer online group. And the last row show you about the percent of participants who complete the HIV testing process. You can see 100% of participants in offline group complete the HIV testing process, and around 94% in the mixed group and 92% in the online group. Around 9 participants in the mixed online group and 11 in the online group did not show up for the offline and online scheduled visit. And 4 participants from the online group could not complete online supervised HIV self-testing process. From the table, you can see that the online group had the highest percent of the first-time tester and reported the highest HIV prevalence as compared to the offline and mixed group respectively. And the offline group had the highest of linkage to ART at around 84%, and 75% in the mixed group and 52% in the online group. Factors significantly associated with unsuccessful linkage to care include being in the online group, age less than 17 years at first sex, and having a single partner. Logistic regression did not find stigma and discrimination experienced in family, school, workplace, or healthcare setting to be associated with successful linkage to ART. So in conclusion, offering online supervised HIV self-testing successfully engaged MSM and transgender women with who never tested before and who had high HIV reactive yield into HIV testing service. Linking client-tested HIV reactive online to come out for offline HIV confirmation and ART initiation proved to be a real challenge. Innovative method which respond to the need for high confidentiality and privacy to support transition of those clients from offline to from online to offline service are urgently needed. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Now we have about 15 minutes for questions and answers. So I'll get my co-chair Alex to help facilitate that.
Sure. We have 3 mics, one in the middle and 2 in the end. If people have questions, jump up before they get all occupied. So you get to go first.
Hi. I have a question for Sarah, actually. If you can talk more about the gamification and behavioral economic sections, what's in it and why?
Yeah, sure. Oh, here we go. So yeah, we've included many gamification principles. So for participating in activities within the site, participants earn like in-app currency or points. And those can then be used to unlock those narratives that I talked about, which are either the Choose Your Own Adventure or the video series. as well as having levels so they level up. And in terms of the behavioral economics, so we actually seed their accounts with $30 at the beginning of the trial, and for every day that they participate in one of the key activities on the app, they earn $1, and if they don't on any given day, they lose 50 cents. So, and that money is actually paid out at the end. So kind of using some of the loss aversion principles around behavioral economics. Yeah, so does that...
Great, thank you. So we'll start there, and then come back to the center.
Hi, my name is Ben Avaslaj. I work with the linkage project of FHI 360, and I just want to say this is an amazing panel. I wish we had more panels like this here at the conference. I have a couple questions. One is for Tess Manila regarding the reports that there's around 18,000 tests that were resulted from the campaign. How were you able to attribute those tests to that particular campaign as opposed to other things that were going on at the same time? And my other question is to the teams from Adams, Love, and Emory about the apps or solutions that you developed. From my experience at a program level and not in a research level, it's difficult to engage users in a new platform or to use internet differently than what they would normally be using it for, to take them to a new place. So downloading an app or going to a new video discussion site has been quite difficult. So what are your suggestions around moving from research to programs and getting people to have the same outcomes? And what are your thoughts around that particularly?
Okay, so for those 80,000 tested, we got that number from our clinics. We use iPads to get the registration of those people who want to get tested. And there's a question there: if you want to get tested, where did you learn about the testing? And for the other clinics that don't have iPads, we have this form that can ask them, where did you learn about the testing? If it's Test Manila, then you check the Test Manila button. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the question. It's very interesting that you asked this question. I don't know if I can understand you correctly, but I'll try, okay? So, in our study and our strength of doing this kind of innovative technology, we believe in using the existing and blend it in daily life. Okay, so I think both of them are great in terms of if you have a resource and factors that support you to make the separated applications. But in our case, with the resource limited and many different factors, so we use this as the existing and which the one that is already popular among our MSM. Especially we use this platform, which of course we see some challenge as well because we cannot control something as it's not developed by us. But mostly it's very easy to use, so we would test it a lot before we using it. And also we combine with the application instant messaging app that we use, especially for example in Thailand, like I said, we use Line. Yeah, so we don't need otherwise the participants will need to go into that app and it needs some environment. Even these dialogues, we need, when we recruit them and they come to the baseline testing, we have to make the environment teach them how to go through each step because they are not used to.
Did you want to add?
Can I add? Yeah. So I would like to add the response to your question about the use of the app. And I agree with you that is a new, so that also need the pioneers and the early adopters to use that. And I share example our iReserve app. So it's a web-based app, and also the people also download. For testing, people can do that periodically, every 3 months or 6 months. So they don't need to kind of install that and on their smartphone. And I think there are some key thing for the app to be usable is that it needs to be friendly, simple, easy to use, and also we just want to offer more choice for the clients. There are some clients they don't want to have the direct kind of contact, so they can have another choice to do the online booking. Yes.
Thank you. For the sake of time, we have about 10 minutes left, so I'll ask you to keep your questions brief, and for the panelists to keep your answers brief so we can get everyone in. So over there.
Thank you. My name is Simona from Macedonia. Thanks for great projects presentations. I wonder, in the case of HIV self-testing, whether you documented any cases of coercion, and I wonder whether there was a difference in the cross-sectional study versus the longitudinal study, just because in the cross-sectional study, I guess you had less control over whether partners were influencing people to get tested or not. And if you had any discussions regarding coercion, what would be your suggestions for how to protect the people who get self-tested at home? Thank you.
So, first of all, thanks for a very good question. So, for the first one,
So the question about your study is about HIV self-testing.
Okay.
So were there any coercion?
Yes.
Yeah.
So this study was just conducted during October to September. I think this is the cold study, and with the time, this study was continued to move on, and during the study in the 3 months, we use the cell phone number to restrict the people. They can just, each participant can just apply for one self-test regions during the study. And from the beginning of 2018, we changed the restricted time from 3 months to 1 month. So if you want to analyze more information about the people, their basic information or the sexual behaviors change during the study, we can use the cell phone number to track this person, the change of his HIV infection or some sexual behaviors.
Thank you. Nick.
Hi, my name's Nicholas. I'm the co-founder of the Institute of Many, which is Australia's largest grassroots movement for people living with HIV, and we're the largest because we exist online. So we have a very large online community for people living with HIV. And my question here is really about what happens post-diagnosis for all these people that you are capturing in your online interventions that are very innovative. Congratulations. But people living with HIV need the same level of innovation when it comes to the ways we receive support after diagnosis. And my challenge to all the savvy marketing people in the room is to invest just as much in meaningful online interventions for us living with HIV, because we need to be retained in care and we need a particular form of support that we can't get from going to workshops and meetings anymore. So that's really my challenge. But my question is for anyone involved in those interventions, were there any follow-up? What was available for people living with HIV once they were diagnosed?
So people were screened, self-screened as positive by the self-testing. So we cannot, we need to engage the community to involve in the counseling and the linkage. So after HIV self-testing was positive, and the peer educators who worked at the community-based organization will provide a one-to-one accompanied referral to the healthy facilities. This one-to-one accompanied reference can provide some information about the post-positive counseling and some information about the preparation of treatment and something else. This is very important to keep these people stay in the cascade of HIV. And another thing for our study is a little special is the self-testing project is conducted based on the AIDS Healthcare Foundation project. 14 employees have joined AIDS Health Care Foundation China program. So we most of our partners was the province level healthy facility. They are the designated treatment clinics by the government. So they can provide the confirmation test, and they can also provide the treatment services. So this is very important to keep the people linked to care. And for the next half year of 2018, what we want to do was to establish appointment and a linkage system to help to optimize our system and to simplify the procedure to keep this self-testing model more convenient and easy. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you want to add something really fast?
So after in our study, we found 2 zero conversion at month 6. So first of all, we have the supported program called Adams Love We Care. So we and another one that we are doing in this particular study is that we have, because we do the dialogue with the intervention arm participant. So we first link them to care immediately, and then we change the curriculum. Because at month 6, we found them positive. And so normally this curriculum is for HIV prevention. So we changed the curriculum immediately so that they can see the different view of how to live with HIV from the beginning. And then we support them through the online to offline service for treatment cascade. Yeah.
For Test Manila, those 1,300 plus young MSMs who are active to HIV. When you get tested with our clinic partners, you usually get a counselor. After you get a reactive result, you get a life coach that helps you to the linkages of treatment and support services. So after the 9 months program of SMNL, we have 86% of all those 1,300 people who are linked to treatment and care. And after 6 months of that, 100% is connected to treatment, care, and support services. So what we want there is to not only to make sure that everyone get tested, because everyone get tested, but at the end of the day, we want those who get tested and those who are reactive to HIV are get treated. In our clinics in Manila, you have to wait for about 1 month to get start treatment. But in our clinics, what we want is we try to provide treatment as much as possible. So we can do that because we have partners with the Research Institute for Tropical Medicine, so we can provide immediate treatment for them. Thank you.
Yeah, so I just wanted to add, we're not in the same situation in that we're testing and identifying people, but our research group in general is really committed to both, interventions to promote adherence to both PrEP and retroviral therapy. So we actually have another app built on the same platform and includes many of the same features for adherence for HIV-positive individuals.
Thank you. I think we have time for one last question.
All right. I was wondering if there was a significant difference in the regionality of your participants. And when I mean regionality, I mean distance from a metro area. Do you know what I mean? Oh, yeah, urban versus rural.
Urban versus rural.
Yeah, thank you.
Was there much, did you find much difference between urban versus rural in terms of your participants?
City versus country. Villages versus city.
For Test ML, most of the target area is Metro Manila, so I really can't talk about it, but I guess other.
So most of them were contained to metro areas? Whether your participants were in largely metro areas or whether they were in more village, rural areas?
I think most of them from such as city levels or much bigger countries, but they still have some participants who come from the rural areas. I think this is the advantage of self-testing. We can access these people who don't have the advantage of location. He live in rural areas. He need self-testing to help them get test. In our study, our project covered 14 provinces in China. But when we look at the people, where they are located, we covered 31 of the 32 provinces. Just one province is not covered. So they still have the requirements to HIV testing. So.
One last comment.
So for our online intervention, so majority of the participants are the urban ones, but we are working closely with the community-based organization, so we can combine two different strategies, online and offline. And the community-based organization, so they can reach the people that we cannot reach online. So we combine two different strategies to reach also urban and rural.
That's good. And just one final comment, if that was okay. I just was interested in the samples of MSM, gay men. How many of your gay men were trans as well? Not trans women, so gay men who are trans, like myself.
Was there much representation of trans men in the studies?
No. Okay, cool.
Okay.
Thank you.
So before we wrap up, I want to thank everyone for coming to attend this session. I think it was very informative, really talked about the innovations that's available through social media, and I think I want to capture the last comment that Nick made in the sense of how we think about MSM and the health of MSM in the context of prevention to care and treatment, as well as representation and meaningful representation of people living with HIV, and to understand that HIV-positive gay men are not simply a preventative method for ensuring that they're not infecting their heterosexual partners, but that the lives of gay men alone have value regardless of who their partners might be. So with that, Midnight, do you have any last points?
Thank you very much for the panelists. It's really good to see such innovations coming from around the regions, particularly in Asia. And we have one panelist from the US, so I think this is really great. And to see so many women working around MSM issues as well. So I think this is a really good round of applause for